Hey everybody, Doa from Ice Cave Radio here, and check it out. One of the very first sealed booster boxes of Legends of the Force out in the wild right now. Fantasy Flight Games was kind enough to send us here at Ice Cave Radio a care kit with set 5 and included this booster box, which we're going to open right now, and also the Spotlight decks, which I'll go over card by card in future videos, just like we did last set. A pre-release kit that we're going to go over in a video this weekend, and a lot more playmats, card sleeves, so much stuff. Thank you so much to Fantasy Flight for sending that out. And this lovely Gamegenic playmat, which I like it. It's simple. It's just got the branding for the game. It's got all the spots for all the different sections in the game. And I'm kind of in love with that. I like all the art stuff, but I like the simplicity, the minimalism of this playmat. So that's one we're going to use for the box opening video. But let's get to it. Oh yeah, the first booster box of Legends of the Force. And question is, will I be lucky enough to pull a showcase? Now, if you'll recall, in set 2, I pulled a Boba 2 showcase. In set 3, I pulled no showcases. Set 1, I pulled no showcases. In set 4, out of one case, I pulled 2 showcases, a Lando and a Holdo. I traded the Holdo for a Trench, which has been a ton of fun to play. And I traded my old Boba 2 for a Poe. So I ended up with a couple more showcases. But and I really enjoy playing the Lando, so I'm holding on to that. I've got the Akbar showcase now as well. But we'll see if we can get any set 5 showcases. The one I'm really looking for more than anything, I think, is Kit Fisto, because that's just a leader I'm very excited about playing. And then, maybe Darth Revan, because that's another leader that should be fun. Qui-Gon would be great. And then, probably those 3 are the big ones I'm hoping to pull. But any showcase is fun. So anyway, first pack of Legends of the Force. I can't believe it. It's it feels like it can't already be here, but here it is in my hand. So without any further ado, let's just open it. Let's rip this stuff. Now, chances are I'm not going to get a showcase, but you never know, right? Ahsoka Tano will be the first leader I pull here, it looks like. And then there is the blue. The blue, I want to say, they have kind of a good guy and a bad guy base for each one. So there's one of the Force bases. Sorcerers of Ton. We're not going to go over every single card here because there's going to be a lot of other, videos talking about cards. We're going to talk about a lot of them in our pre-release kit video. So for now, I'm just going to put them down there like that. Let me just move this box a little bit out of the way here so I can make my normal piles that I do, All right, we've got this because I try to just keep everything nice and orderly so I don't have to worry about it later, Nothing's worse than having to open a bunch of stuff. Well, nothing's worse than opening a bunch of things and then having to sort it, right? Lothwolf, I'm very excited about that card. Honestly, this card for things like Kazuda, Ziona, a pretty sick card, right? Because you can make him, yes, he can attack. You blink the Sentinel, but who cares? You get a 3/3 for 2, right? And in a lot of, I think, Heroism decks, he's just going to be a good roadblock if you're playing something a bit slower. So that'll be cool. Witch of the Mist. Oh, we got to make a red pile. Green pile. Blue pile. No Heroism or Villainy. Probe Droid. Luthen Rail. All right. Pretty awesome character in Andor, to say the least. Acclimator Assault Ship. So the funny thing is some of the art on this I haven't seen yet. So I know all the cards have been spoiled, but I haven't seen this one yet. Very cool. On attack, you may give another unit +5/+5 for the phase. Pretty exciting, actually. All right. Neat. Savage Oppress, Savage Oppress, and the Supremacy. First pack, first legendary. There's a Supremacy, 12 for 12/12. Ambush, other friendly vehicle units get +6/+6. So how about a finisher? Man, you looking for a finisher in Piet? I mean, yeah, you don't have a ton of units out. So yeah, I might try to play this in maybe a slower double green Vader or a slower green-blue Vader. This would be a fun finisher if Unity of Purpose doesn't get it done. So our first legendary, and then our first foil is going to be a BD1. There you go. Cool. All right. On to pack number 2. My camera likes to do this thing where it changes the focus a lot, but the point is that we get to have a lot of very crisp, right in front of us cards like Kanan Jarrus, who I cannot wait to build because he is going to be a ton of fun with all his creature stuff. Throw a couple specters in there. Mysterious Hermit, good way to grab the Force early on, consumed by the dark side. We're not going to, like I said, we're not going to go over a ton of these cards. We're just sort of looking for the big hits. Ooh, nice. Hyperspace Sorcerer's Blast. I like that. That's a cool look. Graceful Purrgil, not bad. Jedi Starfighter, all right. Things like the Jedi Starfighter are going to be great in kit because it's a Jedi you can attack with to activate his ability. And, with the ground focus, unless your opponent's playing a space deck, you're probably going to be able to get a pretty good amount of force generation with some of these space ones. Some of these space Jedi units. Hyena Bomber. Let me just make a little bit more space here. Diagon Master. Heavy Missile Gunship. Old Daka in hyperspace. There you go. Pretty cool. Not bad. And then we have Bendu. Whoa, second pack, second legendary? Really? All right. Well, we got Bendu, 8 for 10/10. On attack, deal 3 damage to each other unit. So, does a lot of damage. 8 for 10/10. Probably some fun stuff you can do with that. And then Precarious Predicament is our foil. So, wow, 2 packs, 2 legendaries. Not too bad. Hopefully we aren't blowing the luck too early here. I keep hitting the mic stand when I go to throw the pack away. There's Obi-Wan Kenobi, leader a lot of people are excited about, and for good reason. I think his XP generating stuff is pretty good. Curious Flock. Hello, Porgs. How you doing, Porgs? Corrupted Saber. I think that's going to be nice in Kylo, potentially. We have a Hyperspace Hive Defense Wing. Very nice. 3 for a 2/4 with Restore 1. That's actually not a bad green generic unit at all, I would say. Praetorian Guard. Another Conditional Sentinel, basically, which we see in a lot of green villainy. So something to think about as you build those decks. Guardian of the Wills, welcome back. A reprint from Set 1. Way back in Set 1. Purge Trooper. Some anti-force stuff. Jedi Temple Guards, another good ambush unit with a bit of Restore. Supremacy TIE SF. 3 for a 3/3 with Sentinel. The thing is, Blue Vader 4 is starting to look a little bit more tempting with some of the hits we've got in Set 5. Plo Koon, Set 5 version. He has Grit when the Force is with you. And Marin. All right. Another good possibility for some Jedi stuff. And we have our first rare base, the Mystic Monastery. The Force is with you. Just an action you can do 3 times a game. Nice, nice, nice. I don't know why I said nice 3 times, but there you go. Sand Trooper Cavalry. Sand Trooper Cavalry. Why is that so hard to say? It shouldn't be. Anyway, we're going to keep moving on here. Looking for showcases. Oh, no. But we do have our first hyperspace leader. It's Cal Kestis, which is a leader I think I might be underestimating a little bit. So we'll see how he does as time goes on. We have our red base. We have our Porg. Just a generic Porg. Young Padawan. We have our blue Squadron Assault Wing, Lifewind Sage, which is a card I'm kind of curious about, honestly. It's a 5/5 for 4, conditionally, right? When an enemy is exhausted, it gets raid 2, but that might be one of the cards I think that might creep into a couple lists. It's like right on the bubble for me of like, yeah, maybe. Wampa, welcome back. Very relevant to our interests, right? Inquisitor's Lightsaber. While attacking a Force unit, gets +2/+0, so some Force hate there. Night Sister Warrior. BD1. That's our playset of BD1s already. Plo Koon. Welcome back. Yoda. Whoa. All right. 4 packs. 3 legendaries, including a Hyperspace Yoda. This is a card I think is going to make it into some lists, almost certainly. Obi-Wan seems to be able to use it well already. I'm kind of playing with some slower Force-based Kit Fisto lists that can run this, but always very exciting to see. And then what do we got? The Tragedy of Darth Plagueis and Hyperfoil Night Saber. Not bad. So, wow. Pretty good hits here. Another legendary. Have you heard of the Tragedy of Darth Plagueis, Wise? He's like, have you heard of it? Anakin's like, no, tell me, please. Fascinating. Well, I should be making a stack for rares, but I'll sort it all later. We'll just set the legendaries aside for now, but yeah, Hyperspace Yoda, pretty sick. Pretty sick hit so far. All right, what do we got? Hyperspace Snoke. What's up? And yeah, honestly, this looks pretty good in hyperspace, I gotta say. It's going to be one of those leaders where it's very, Tarkin-esque, right? Just throwing out XP on things. A little bit less restrictive than Tarkin, but, we'll see if people decide to, buy into it. I think he's good in limited. I think that's what we kind of decided. Welcome back, Hunting Nexu. All right. Secretive Sage. Boop. Some good creatures out there. Minok, I think, is a good space creature in Green-Blue Kanan, maybe. Trying to hold it so that you can see everything here. Heirloom Lightsaber. Force Speed. double cunning card. Search use stance. There's a couple of these cards I'll probably stop and talk about a little bit. Lor Santeca. When defeated, you may give an experience token to a unique unit. So, and he's 3/2, which kind of makes him pretty playable in some decks that run some stuff early on. So I kind of like it a little bit. Trust Your Instincts is our rare for this pack. And I think that's a card that could run to some stuff. And another rare, a Deceptive Shade. All right. Not bad at all. So double rare pack. We take those. Hyperspace Yoda is so cool. Another Snoke. Snoke. Our base. It's going to be interesting that all the bases are sub 30 health for limited. That probably will speed things up a little bit. I'm wondering just how much, though. You know? Drain Essence. That feels like a pretty good card to me. Jedi in Hiding. I'm really loving playing this in both my Kit Fisto and my Qui-Gon lists at the moment. The discard is very annoying for your opponent to deal with. Find the Path, Cure Wounds. Asajj Ventress, another in my Kit ECL list. I run her because you ECL her on Kit Fisto's flip turn. You can either use her to help the Quinlan unit that you just played the turn before hit for effectively 10, or you can ECL, buff Kit by 2, and then attack with her, again, because you ECL'd, and buff something else by 2. So you have like 2+2 attacks to distribute. So I think her with ECL is very good. Jedi Vector, another good Jedi ship for speed once again. And we got Psychometry, which I'm not sure about. Might be good. Not sure. And we have Battle Fury for our foil. Cool piece of art. Obviously, like the Duel of the Fates scene is iconic. Not just in the prequels, but in Star Wars in general. We got Cal Kestis. Regular old Cal Kestis. Oh, we do have a Hyperspace Crystal Caves. Looks very nice. That's cool. I like it. That's the base I'll be using with my Force stuff that requires cunning. Very cool. Medical Frigate. Lothcat. Oh, no, that goes in the generic cunning pile. There we go. Ravenous Rathtar. Overpower. Whirlwind of Power. Do or do not. I think that might be a nice little card draw. 3 for a 4/4. We're starting to get these kind of just overstated units just in general. And that'll be, something we can kind of like build up over time to just have access to. Jocasta Nu is interesting as far as bouncing upgrades between people. And sort of the combo potential you can build with that. Stinger Mantis. Kit Fisto's Aether Sprite. And, the thing is I like this card, but I don't know if I would run it until rotation happens. I think before rotation, I would kind of rather run Disabling Fangfighter just because it's cheaper. You can work it into more turns a little bit easier. Where this one, it's got, the same ability essentially, except you can destroy any number of upgrades, which is nice, right? Maybe this goes in as just anti-Kylo if Kylo becomes big in the meta, but I think that's a card that's going to kind of be a card you keep in mind, but sort of sits on the bench for a little bit until rotation. Then it's going to become a bit better of a sideboard card. All right, what do we got? Kit Fisto. There he is. Hey, Kit Fisto. Man, pay 1. If you attack with a Jedi unit this phase, deal 2 damage to a unit. It's so good. Just basically having access to a Daring Raid that hits units every turn, essentially. You can build the deck to be able to do this pretty much every turn. I think it's quite good. Hyperspace Shadowed Undercity. Very cool. I'm gonna do this. It's worse. I would love to build a deck that uses it could be worse and it's worse. That's just funny that we've got that again in the game. Check it out. Hyperspace Longbeam Cruiser. Cool. Long beam. If you know, you know. Unleash Rage. Tech. Anti-Force sideboard. I think it's going to be thrown into a lot of decks. Like Kanan for sure. Paz Vizsla is our rare. Double Aggression. This unit gets +2/+0 for each damage on him. Could be interesting in a double red situation. And then Acolyte of Beyond is our foil. Cool. So a nice little force generator for red. For villainy red. All right. Ahsoka. Once again. We have Starlight Temple. for our base. Quacking Monkey Lizard, Nihil Marauder. Tip the Scale. That looks kind of neat in hyperspace. It's the Chance Cube. Whoa, everybody uses that to determine who goes first in games of Star Wars Unlimited. People love their Chance Cubes. Sorcerous Blast. Definitely, I think a lot of decks are going to run a 3 of. Oh, Acolyte of Beyond goes up here. Ezra Bridger. New Ezra. Yeah, definitely goes in the Kanan thing. He's got that creature synergy as well. Yeah, Kanan Creatures is definitely a deck I'm excited about building. Infused Brawler. I could see this being in a couple units. Pong Krell is going to be our rare here. Villainy and Vigilance. 2/9 Grit. When this unit completes an attack and survives, you may defeat a unit with less remaining HP than this unit's power. So very interesting sort of potential here as far as using the damage and then using it through removal. So I think we might see some Pong Krell pop up in some lists. Whoop. Grand Inquisitor. Wah wah. The Holy City. All right. Yeah, I think Grand Inquisitor is pretty mid across the board. Whether you're talking Premier, certainly not great, and then Limited, a little bit better, but not spectacular. I'm looking at all these for, possible Vader 4 includes. 3/1 Overwhelm. The 1 health really makes it very vulnerable. The Overwhelm is nice, but I think you're looking for something a little bit more durable. But that's a great addition to Phasma, though. I think. Or Santeca. Quinlan Voss, card I'm very excited about. 4 for a 4/5 Force Jedi. Republic on attack. If this unit has 6 or more power, you may deal 2 damage to an enemy base. So this is what I'm talking about, where you play Quinlan on turn 4, and then turn 5 you ECL Asajj. You put both the buffs on Quinlan. He goes up to 8 power and then swings and does 2 more damage to the base. So again, depending on the board state, you can do some pretty good damage there. Craving Power, pretty exciting upgrade. Deal damage to an enemy unit equal to the attached unit's power. So great for Kylo, obviously. And then also just kind of in general as something to keep in mind as Overwhelming Barrage eventually rotates out, right? We got Kylo Ren. Hey, speaking of Kylo Ren, there you go. Building a big Voltron Kylo Ren body. Hopefully doing it in a way that doesn't get you immediately bamboozled or something like that. But I think, personally, the only way to really build Kylo is to build him with yellow and then do snapshot reflexes to just make sure you get 1 attack and just go for the biggest swing possible, That's my opinion anyway. Hyperspace Aura Sing. I'm very excited about this card for Revan, actually. I've been playing around with a Revan Underworld list, and it's kind of nutty. She is great because she becomes a 3/4 essentially with the raid 2, and the hidden makes sure she survives to get a swing in, and then she gets buffed by the Revan. Really nice. Probably the best turn 1 play I've found with Revan. So very cool card. Glad to have that in hyperspace. Size Matters Not is going to be our rare here. Double blue, and hey, a foil Darth Tyrannus. Nice. Or Darth Tyrannus. Yeah, Tyrannus. You say tomato, I say Tyrannus. Ambush while the Force is with you. A good card in general. I think strong in Revan, perhaps. Although the Revan list I'm running right now doesn't include Force units. This is a starter card, by the way. So this is one of the ones in the mall starter. So you can only get the foil, hyperfoil versions in packs. And I think they put maybe like 1 or 2 of the starter cards in OP packs too. And then, of course, I say starter, but I mean special, Another Ahsoka. Used to be starter, now the S stands for special. Gungan Warrior. Point Rain Reclaimer. Interesting card. 1 for a 1/2. When played, if you control a Jedi unit, you may give an experience token to this unit. So I don't know. It is a clone. So it's got potential in certain lists, but I'm not super high on it right now. But it is an interesting card to kind of keep in mind, I think. All right. Balin's Skull. A card I'm pretty excited about. Hidden. When played, you may use the Force. If you do, return a non-leader unit that costs 4 less of its owner's hand. Then its owner may play it for free. So just a really nice bounce to either restore a shield on something, restore hidden on something. It's, kind of synergizes well with Shin Hati, who's got the shield, and so he can bounce her, you play her again, you get the shield. So that's kind of the idea with that, I think. Caretaker Matron. It's okay. Calm in the Storm. And our rare is Yaddle. I think Yaddle is going to be pretty standard in a lot of Vigilance Heroism decks these days. Just 2 for a 2/4 is a great stat line. Restore 1, even better. And then on attack, each other Jedi unit gains Restore 1 for this phase. I mean, Kawil is officially retired at this point. And then we have a foil Drain Essence. Cool. All right. Or maybe you just run a Kawil and Yaddle if you don't absolutely need the Force attack thing every single turn. All right, another Cal. Like I said, I've opened close to 40 boxes and pulled 3 showcases total. So I never expect to pull a showcase going into a box, But I secretly always kind of hope a little bit, but not too much. Sassy Teen. I've seen a lot of people think about running him in, in some certain Force decks. I think he's interesting to think about in something like Mace Windu from set 3, because he kind of synergizes well with Mace's ability to do damage already. So I think he's worth thinking about with that. Because you got to think about older leaders too, right? You have to think about leaders from past sets when you're building these. And I think that's one where Mace is getting a buff there. Malakili, really great in Kanan Green. First creature you play each phase costs 1 less. If a friendly creature unit would deal damage to a friendly unit, prevent that damage. There is some of that happening. So I do like that. It deals specifically with Jabba's Rancor, of course. But yeah, glad to get that. Speaking of creatures, Ravenous Rathtar. There you go. So that is kind of exciting. It's funny running Kanan and Ezra and Malakili. I like the idea of it. Morgan Elsbeth, a cool kind of build-around leader, I think. I think she'll be interesting. I don't think she'll be top meta, of course, but I think she'll be fun to play around with. Pounce, Ravening Gundark. Jedi Knight, another card I really like a lot in my Kit Fisto ECL list, because you're going to be grabbing the initiative a lot. Just being able to do a little bit of damage when something comes out is pretty nice. I just need to do a lot more testing right now. Lightsaber throw is kind of cool. The Legacy Run. Hey, another legendary. I really like the implementation of this card. It's from the High Republic. It's a ship that breaks up in hyperspace, not to spoil anything, and then causes insane destruction across a number of star systems. And so that makes sense because it costs 5, 3/3 when defeated, deals 6 damage divided as you choose among enemy units. So it's kind of got this nice little medium-sized overwhelming barrage baked into it. I like it. It is also ECLable, by the way, at 5. And ECL, it's going to rotate out eventually, but I think for the moment, if you're running yellow-green and ECL, this could be a very good, at the very least, sideboard card. Ooh, and we have a foil Temple of Destruction. Neat. When a friendly unit deals 3 or more damage to an enemy base, the Force is with you. There you go. That looks cool in foil. I like it. Yeah, I think Legacy Run is a really neat card. Another Snoke. Is that. And we'll start to go through these a little bit quicker unless I see something I want to really call out. Going to be opening a couple more boxes, obviously, once the set comes out and I pick up my set. Going to be grabbing a Carbonite set box as well, so that'll be exciting. Oh, check it out. Hyperspace Virgins Temple. Very cool. Oh, and this is the one a lot of people have been talking about using, actually. When the regroup phase starts, if you control a unit with 4 or more remaining HP, the Force is with you. So this, I think, especially as cards like Tarkin Town start to rotate out, as we see less pinging stuff being played, this is going to be really good. A lot of people have been trying it out with Obi-Wan. So yeah, cool to get it in hyperspace. Luminous Beings is our rare. And we get a foil Vanny. When played / on attack, you may defeat an experience token on a friendly unit. If you do, give an experience token to a friendly unit. So experience token bouncing. Kind of cool. You can maybe spread out that 1 damage from the experience token across multiple units. There's Obi-Wan. I mean, more than anything, I say this every set, but there's just so much stuff I want to try building. So much stuff and not enough time. Thralls of the Coven, Owen Lars. Owen Lars, it's funny because he's got a lot of the Moisture Farmer flavor, right? 0 attack, high health, restore 2. But he's got that built-in search, which makes him extremely good. I think if you run him in like Obi-Wan or something, you'll be pretty happy with the results. Sith Legionnaire. Kiadi Mundi, all right. A lot of card people are talking about. Maybe one of the best uncommons in the set right now. Just getting to use the Force to draw 2 cards. It's so good. I've been playing him in Kit Fisto with and Qui-Gon with like Shen Flurry, which lets you ambush and then minus 2 of the damage that he would take. So getting to ambush with a 4/4, draw 2 cards, and have him usually live is for 5 is just such great value. So definitely a card to pick up a playset of. Doom, double blue. I think you could run Kanan double blue, and this would give you an interesting way to sort of like put it, kind of put a clock on your opponent as you keep buffing things. Kind of neat. Old Daka. A lot of cool stuff. All right. Still looking for those showcases. And it's Kit Fisto. But not the showcase, sadly. Hyperspace Fortress Vader. That's pretty cool. Everybody loves Fortress Vader, right? Except, ironically, Vader. He doesn't, he'd rather be hanging out on Coruscant. Probably. Mace Windu. Here's another card I'm really enjoying playing in Qui-Gon right now. Being able to use, again, Xian Flurry, the 1-cost cunning event to charge him in. 6/6 Overwhelm, and then using the Force while you do it, because you don't need to use the Force to play Xian Flurry. You deal 4 damage. He also, when you ambush, you can gain the Force first if you don't have it, and then use the Force, right? Because you can order the order of things. So you do the ambush first, and then use this when played. So there's a lot of flexibility to it too. You can use the Force on this ability, then ambush, and then get the Force right back again. And just a 6/6 Overwhelm is just strong. So I think he's looking like a pretty great card. Watto. Hey, Anakin Skywalker, another legendary. Nice. Okay, this one's exciting in Chancellor Palpatine Blue from set 3, remember? But also exciting with the Anakin Leader unit, of course, because you can have both heroism and villainy in your discard pile. But I think he's much more achievable than people think. People are like, oh, well, Luke Skywalker does it, just if something dies. Yeah, but like this, if it's in your discard pile, it's in your discard pile. You don't have to wait for something to happen on the board. And he comes out 1 sooner. So, you don't always need that restore either. So I think he's very, very good. Nihil Marauder is our foil. Getting near the bottom of the box. Come on, showcase. Nope. We got a Hyperspace Ahsoka Tano. And a Hyperspace Starlight Temple. Neat. Trying to hold this fairly steady. It's cool. We got the Purgils in there now. Haven't seen any of Yoda's lightsaber, I think, yet, which is another card I really definitely want a playset of. Even Strike. Haven't gotten a single Xian Flurry either. As I have foreseen, is an interesting one. Some people have been playing this with set 1 Thrawn, which is kind of cool. And then, hey, Hyperfoil Village Tender. Nice. Hyperfoil Ewok. 1 for 1/3. Hidden Restore 1. Fun. It's just fun. What can I say? Give me those Ewok decks someday. All right, we got a Hyperspace Rey, a leader that not a lot of people are excited about, and probably for good reason. But hey, if you love Rey and you want to play something interesting with a lot of events, I think she could be at the very least, a fun leader to play. I don't want to poo-poo any leaders too much, because at the end of the day, with a card game like this, it's really about what you want to play, what you want to have fun with. It's very legit. The Sun. Okay. 7 for a 6/8. While the Force is with you, each friendly unit gets +2/+0. So I do wonder if this is as a card that could be a win condition in a go wide deck, or is this a card that's kind of win more, right? Where by the time you'd have the luxury of playing something like this, it wouldn't really be super impactful anyway. So I'm not 100% sure how I feel about the Sun right now. Same goes for the father. I think the daughter has a little bit more potential because she's a little bit cheaper and has that heal attached to it. Barisafi. All right. Interesting build around event leader. I think could be really fun to play with. Been seeing some people try to run it with like Data Vault, things like that. I haven't seen people have a lot of success with it yet, but you know, the set isn't even out yet. So we're just in the very, very preliminary testing phases right now. Pelo Moto. Shen Flurry. There we go. I love this card. I think this is one of the best cards in the set. 1 for a Cunning event. Play a force unit from your hand. It gains ambush for this phase. The next time it would be dealt damage this phase, prevent 2 of that damage. So really, really nice way to give something ambush, keep it safe. You can't smuggle it out like timely intervention. And it is force locked, but I think there are like Qui-Gon especially. I think it's really, really good in, I think Kit Fisto, any kind of medium range Jedi aggression kind of deck. I really love it in. I've been having great results with it so far. Grogu is going to be our legendary. Another legendary. Nice. All right. I kind of forgot this was a legendary. 3 for a 1/6 hidden, and then action heal up to 2 damage from a unit if you do deal that much damage to a unit. Very interesting ability. I wonder how effective he's going to end up being in the long term, but it is a cool addition in terms of just mechanics to deal with. All right. What do we got? We got Grand Inquisitor. Nothing more needs to be said about him. Probably not a very strong leader, I would say, this set. Tauntaun. I wish you could like self-capture a unit to heal it or something like that, and then the next phase it dies and then the unit pops out, you know? We need more lore-specific mechanics of that. Keller and Beck. I think this is going to be a solid card in some slower green decks. When played, search the top 7 cards of your deck for a unit, reveal it, and play it. It costs 3 less. So there you go. Kind of like a home one on the ground a little bit, but also there to play, you know, like Grogu. Remember, he rescues Grogu from the Jedi Temple during Order 66. So has a little bit of synergy with the new Grogu Legendary. See? Costs 3. Interesting. So I do like those little kind of like semi-hidden synergies in there. That is fun. Invasion Control Ship. Friendly droid units gain Raid 2. It's very expensive. So by the time you get it out, if you're playing a heavy droid deck, will you really need it, or will you have already won? That's the question again. So it kind of feels like a win more card, but neat ability if you can maybe ramp it out. I don't know. We got Third Sister. I'm still not sure exactly how good she's going to be. It depends on how good Hidden is. It depends on how many cards there are in the history of Star Wars Unlimited that really benefit from not being attacked the first turn they're played. Because again, there's a lot of cards where, you know, you're like, well, I would love to put this in a deck, but I play it and they just kill it immediately with something they have on the board. You know, at least making them need something from hand to kill it makes it a lot safer to play. So we might end up seeing some decks with Third Sister that play some cards that were good but considered a bit too risky before. That's my theory anyway. I really like this card. Strike Ship, great in Grand Inquisitor. You know, you ready him and just get to hit for 3 your first turn, have the 3/1. It's got Overwhelm if you need it. Especially, GA testing. It's been really good. Jianui, another Vanny. Here's an uncommon Battle Flurry. We have Sith Holocron. All right. Attached to a force unit. Attached unit gains on attack. You may deal 2 damage to a friendly unit. If you do, this unit gets +2/+0. So, interesting. Damage your other units to buff the person holding the Holocron. And then we have a Foil Doom. All right. 2 more packs. Any chance of a showcase? Come on. Come on, give me a showcase. No, we got Anakin Skywalker. That's cool. That's cool too, though. I'm looking forward to building Anakin. It's about as good as a showcase, right? And then, let's see. Oh, Jedi in Hiding. Jedi Consular, I think, is going to be another good one in like Obi-Wan. You know, the 4 health synergizes well with a lot of things. Another Quinlan. All right, Captain Enoch, Trooper Synergy. I think he could be a really good card in, obviously, decks with a lot of troopers. At the same time, what good decks are there with a lot of Troopers and Villainy right now? Tarkin, I guess, could do it. Wat Tambor could do it. I don't know about Thrawn. Mother Talzin is our final leader, so got a lot of the leaders. No showcases this time, but no surprise there. That is just how it is. So we'll see what we get for our final rare. Another Sorcerer's Blast, always good to see. Final rare and final foils and all that. Stinger Mantis. And Kylo Ren. Hyperspace Vanny, okay. Mind Trick is our rare. Exhaust any number of units with a combined power of 4 or less. If you control a force unit, those units lose all abilities and can't gain abilities for this phase. Interesting way to get rid of Sentinel, perhaps. I think this card is going to be a little bit tricky to use initially, but I think it has a higher ceiling. So there you go. There is our box. A lot of cool rares in there. Let's take a look at our legendary haul. We got 6 legendaries. We got the Grogu, Anakin, Legacy Run. We got a Hyperspace Yoda, which looks really awesome and is a great card as well. Bendu and Supremacy. So not a bad haul legendary-wise. 6 in a box is I think like 5 in a box right now is kind of the average. So 6, because we got one in the Hyperspace slot, is slightly above average. So pretty good box. Despite the no showcase, lots of good rares in there as well. But exciting just to be able to open up, one of the first boxes out in the wild of Legends of the Force. Had a ton of fun doing it. I can't wait to start building. Can't wait to get more cards this next week as I go to pre-releases, pick up more stuff. And you can bet there's going to be a lot of gameplay, a lot of deck techs coming on the channel. So thanks for watching, everybody. Join the Discord if you haven't already. And we'll catch you on the next one. See ya. It's my thumbs up.